Hi, I'm Mike Muchmore here with PCMag, and I'm talking with Jascha Kaykas-Wolff, who is Mozilla's CMO, and we're all excited about a big Firefox release coming up tomorrow. So, Jascha, why don't you just tell us what are the main new things in the Firefox, and it's called Firefox Quantum. So this is the first named Firefox version that's going out with that name. So what do we have to look forward to? It's launching tomorrow. I guess when you see this video, it might not be tomorrow, but it's on November 14th. Okay.
Well, first of all, Michael, appreciate you having us on. We really enjoy PC Magazine, so thanks again for having us here. Firefox Quantum launches tomorrow, November 14th, and this is the biggest change that's happened to Firefox in probably its 14-year history. There have been over 7 million lines of code that have been touched, and this product that's coming out is entirely brand new. 3 really critical new sets of features that are coming out that are going to make the experience fast and awesome. The first is that we have put a ton of hard engineering work into rebuilding the core web rendering engine. This is the guts that make the product fast. So in particular, what we've done is taken the research and development work over the course of the last several years, the work around the Rust development language, and we've made all of that work show up into Firefox Quantum.
So Rust is the language that you're building Firefox in?
The Firefox Quantum web rendering engine, much of it is built with Rust moving forward. And that's critical for us because Rust does a couple of things that's pretty unique. 1, it's built for security, and 2, it's built to take advantage of multiple processors. So the guts of the product make it run screamingly fast. In our measurements right now, we're seeing a 30% reduction in RAM usage, so this is less than Chrome right now, 30% less than Chrome, and on top of that, we're seeing the product clock in at 2 times faster. So that's just the guts, and just the guts that make the speed show up. How the consumer experiences it is the second big area of investment for us. We released, with Firefox Quantum, a whole new user experience behind the codename Photon. And Photon is all about all of the little tweaks that you feel and see as a consumer.
It's how the program looks.
How it looks, from squared tabs to the themes to the way that files are handled. It's all new in Firefox Quantum. So that combination of the guts and the user experience, we think, make this product one of the best we've ever released.
So you mentioned all that speed. How is a user going to feel that? Like, what kind of things would they be doing that would be faster? Just starting it up? Or?
Mozilla is all about making sure that users have choice in getting to the content that they care most about. A user is going to feel speed in a couple of different ways. It's going to start up faster, it's going to load tabs faster, and it's going to load pages faster. All of those make up the experience that you really care about.
And is the less memory use, will that help battery life in laptops and all that?
It'll help battery life in laptops, but really critically, for those of us like myself who don't use really high-powered machines, it's going to run even better for us. So the average machines that are out there, when you install Firefox Quantum, it's going to feel lightning fast.
Cool. Okay, so you mentioned a little bit about the new design. You want to describe that a little bit?
It's a complete modern view of the way that Firefox can look, taking advantage of all of the best features and user experience right now. It's thinking about gradation in tabs when you open up new tabs, subtle cues that help you understand if a page is loading. When you click the buttons, they bounce a little bit faster, and there's a new onboarding experience on top of all of that. So if you haven't used Firefox in a while, or if you're a brand new user, it's going to show you all of the best and brightest inside of the product.
So little tooltips will come out and say, you can try this piece.
They will. And this is also new for us. So this is an area, that onboarding experience, that is brand new with the Photon user experience.
That's great. So why don't you talk about the whole browser market a little bit? So obviously Chrome seems to be everywhere now, and it seems to be the browser of choice around, if you look around here. I love Edge because to me it seems fast. It has problems, but there are a lot of cool things about it. How would you compare Firefox with Chrome, Edge, Opera, whoever else is out there?
It's a great question. So
Safari.
The market is wonderful in that there are a lot of different choices for consumers. Firefox is unique because of who builds it and how we build it. So Firefox is an 1,100-person not-for-profit, which doesn't mean that we don't care about our sustainability, the revenue that we have, but it means that every single decision we make can be focused entirely on making sure the decisions support consumers getting a better experience, not delivering profits just to our shareholders. Why that's important it's because we as an organization can actually bring more people to contribute into the development of the Firefox product. So we, not just the people in Mozilla deliver the product Firefox, but a broader community work on delivering code in Firefox with us. That positions us pretty uniquely in the market because we're not, as an organization, tied to other kinds of businesses. So we're about supporting the web when many of the other browsers are about supporting the services that their companies create.
So you think there's a lot of like data harvesting going on in Chrome and Edge?
I think you could call it a lot of different things.
Yeah.
However, there's definitely a different intention in certain businesses and the way that they run compared to Mozilla and Firefox. So we see us standing out, one, because we built a great product that's fast and we'll put it head-to-head with anybody, but two, because we as an organization are focused entirely 100% from the top all the way through to our community and making sure that every decision supports building the best user experience.
I think privacy is probably a big part of that too. Like, I know that you guys have the private browsing mode where another site can't share cookies. You know, sites you can't see cookies from a previous tab.
That's right. We call it tracking protection.
Yeah.
So tracking protection right now sits inside of private browsing mode. And really what tracking protection is about is empowering users with choice. Right? There's nothing wrong with the advertising industry. There's nothing wrong with tracking and using data. What we think is incredibly important, though, is that you as a consumer understand when someone is asking for and you are giving them your data. So tracking protection doesn't block everything. It allows for you as a consumer to choose what you do and don't share, which you could choose to not share if that's what you want. That's a unique way to approach private browsing, and some of the ideas around stopping tracking that we bring to market that is only something that you would get from a product like Firefox.
Let's talk a little about the mobile side of browsing. I think a lot of browsing is moving onto mobile devices these days, and I know you have Firefox on Android and iOS now,
That's right.
and as well as a privacy
Firefox Focus.
A privacy-based mobile browser.
Yeah.
So, any news? Will this quantum development help mobile browsing at all?
It absolutely will. Over the next several weeks, some of the new refreshes for our Android product in particular is going to take advantage of the work that our engineering team has done with the Firefox Quantum web rendering engine in particular. The Photon user experience is also going to start to show up in each one of those products. But let me share an approach that we're taking on mobile that's new for us over the course of the last year. We've built a great browser product that's shown up on desktop for many years, and we've made an extension of that specifically for mobile, Firefox on Android, Firefox on iOS. What we're now doing is not just supporting the general browser use cases on mobile devices, but we're looking at really important use cases, individual use cases, like that we support with Firefox Focus. It's a privacy-first user experience. It makes it really easy to search and really easy to erase the search history that you've just had. And that single use case has created an opportunity for us as an organization. When we brought Focus to market several months back, it grew to 1 million downloads in just 4 weeks. So this approach of finding a specific use case, some expertise that we have, and then introducing a very specific product for that is the way that we're approaching mobile. In fact, in Indonesia, just 2 weeks ago, we introduced a new product called Firefox Rocket, which is really built specifically for that region. It handles data usage differently so that you can be more attuned to the amount of data that you use, and it allows for an offline browsing experience that we think is great as well. So you'll see much more from us in the mobile space that is about taking the expertise we built in the last 14 years and applying it to really specific use cases that we think we can gain traction, ultimately to give more users choice.
Excellent. Okay, and how about let's talk a little future here.
Yeah.
I know that Firefox supports WebVR, and I believe it's the only browser to support that new open web standard. And you want to talk about that a little bit?
And it supports WebVR natively in the general availability browser. You can see WebVR in many of the other browsers. You just oftentimes have to use developer editions for it. We see WebVR and mixed reality in particular as a really important area for content developers to create new experiences. And that's going to take place now through the next couple of decades, most likely. We want to make sure that when we look at WebVR and MX, or VR and MX more broadly.
Remind me, MX.
Mixed reality, mixed experiences. So
Makes
VR, AR, and whatever else is there,
Okay.
MX. So when we look at that space in general, we want to make sure that we approach it as an organization to make sure that the content creators aren't locked into kind of stovepiped experiences that are locked into hardware and specific software from certain organizations. So we're focused on standards. We're focused on a toolkit that helps developers and content creators with making a really easy move from whatever they develop to put it up onto the web as well. So we're excited about that space. Firefox has hundreds of millions of users, and those hundreds of millions of users we hope usher on standards for web VR kind of over the course of the next several years.
So if I have an HTC Vive, I could like get content from Firefox and enjoy that.
Content's going to come from the websites that it's being served up on, but if you're using Firefox on your Android device and you have a cardboard, for example, you'll be able to see that content on the web in your device as well as on your browser.
Okay, cool. And I understand you guys are getting into the nautical business a little bit this week. What's going on with that?
A little bit. I don't have my captain's hat on right now, but we're actually here in New York this week celebrating the launch of Firefox Quantum, really promising exactly what it does, which is it creates a faster experience for people to get to what they care about most. When we look at New York as an influential market in the United States in particular, we see something interesting happening here, which is tens of thousands of people commuting every day. In fact, about 250,000 people take ferries to get back and forth between Brooklyn and Lower Manhattan right now. Tomorrow we launch the Firefox ferry, which is going to be leaving from Greenpoint to Pier 15 in Lower Manhattan and back for the next 3 days. And that ferry is free. That ferry is programmed with lots of great content, from tech talks to mindfulness meditations to a bunch of other really great activities. Most importantly, it represents what we do best with Firefox Quantum. It's actually 10 minutes faster than the next fastest ferry.
Nice. So yeah, if you're in Greenpoint, Brooklyn, over the next, what dates would it be? November 14th?
14th for the next 3 days past that.
So 14th to 17th, check out the Firefox ferry boat. You can learn about browser technology as you commute faster than the other boats. Well, this has been great. Thank you, Jascha, and good luck with the launch tomorrow.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having us.